Tuesday, January 23rd. Mrs. Pazerski, if you could please call the roll.
Mrs. Dargan? Yes. Mrs. Brate? Yes. Mr. Costello?
Here.
Mr. Greer and Ms. Stetson.
Mr. Greer and Ms. Stetson both send their regards. If you could please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You could also please join me for the Peace Builders Pledge. I am a peace builder. I pledge to praise people, to give up put-downs, to seek wise people, to notice and speak up about hurts I've caused, to right wrongs, to help others. I will build peace at home, at school, and in my community each day. Under the open meeting law, I'm informing the public that this meeting is being videotaped by Marshfield Community Media, twice. If anybody else is taping this meeting, either audio or video, please notify us of such at this time. Seeing none, we have on the agenda executive session to discuss strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel. We're going to skip over that for this evening and just have it at our next meeting. This is also the public hearing for the FY25 educational operating budget. So I'd like to take a motion to open the public hearing for the FY25 operating budget. Is there a motion on the floor? So moved from Ms. Brate. Is there a second? Second from Mrs. Dargan. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, 300. If anybody in the audience wishes to address the FY25 educational operating budget at this time, you're welcome to come forward and do so. That is what I thought. Seeing none, we will take a motion to close the FY25 educational operating budget. Is there a motion to close? So moved from Ms. Brate. Is there a second? Second from Mrs. Dargan. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, 300 again. We're going to move informational and a couple other things around just kind of towards the end of the meeting. We're going to start with our Spotlight on Excellence, and I'm going to have Mr. Granatino introduce that, and we have a really good one tonight. Mr. Granatino.
We do, and it's a large group, and I'm proud to have them here because they've been working so hard on a cause that's near and dear to everybody, especially it has a special place in my heart for what you guys are doing on fundraising for cancer. Our hockey programs have spent the last month and then some working together individually to raise funds for cancer research, cancer-related organizations, and to help families that are dealing with cancer. Our hockey program boys team joined up with Hingham a few weeks back and did a fundraiser that I'll let them talk about, but it was really meaningful. We spoke a little bit about it at the Spotlight on Excellence last meeting. And then at the Green Cup, the girls program along with the boys dedicated that day to raising funds along with the folks from Duxbury for Ellie Nyland, one of our students, our own students, a preschooler who's battling a really tough fight against cancer. And it just speaks to the volume of character and care and love that our programs here in Marshfield have for so many people. And every year it's one organization after another that steps up to help somebody in need or to help a group in need. And you don't see it in every community. And I've been in other communities, and this is pretty special. So the floor is to our hockey programs. We have our coaches here. Coach Wheeling and Coach Conley are here. We have Maria Gonzani from the Boosters and a few others who, if you want to come up, you can all sit around. We also have our hockey captains that are here. And it's just their chance to talk about what they've done and the impact they've had. So the floor is yours, folks.
First off, thank you very much for having the boys program and the girls program here. I'll talk a little bit about both events we ran. The boys can speak a little bit as well. 2 years ago, Marshfield Boys Hockey Program and the Hingham program decided to play a Hockey Fights Cancer game. Last year we raised a little over $30,000 combined, and this year we continued that tradition. We played on New Year's Eve, and we hosted the events. This year, our program, our players raised $18,265 that day. Well, actually, over that day and a couple weeks after that, over really a 3-week time frame. And we had 65 players within our program, all raised at least $200. So very proud of the efforts of all the boys, all the families, and all the members of the community that supported them. And this past Monday, we had the 15th annual Green Cup game. It's a series of youth hockey games, middle school games, and then followed up by a boys varsity and girls varsity game between Marshfield and Duxbury. And each year we change the charity of who the game's going to benefit. And this year was Elwing Island, and very proud of everything that the girls program did and the boys program did to help raise money for this family. We're still tabulating how much money we did raise, but it was a very successful day overall for the family. And the girls game, they did a puck drop, so everyone puck drop with Ellie, and she was actually able to be there, which was a nice part of the day. Helped bring a little bit of a special moment to the day.
I would add, I was covering the game that day. I have a friend who does stuff for Money Off the Live, and I was up there and filming it, and there was more than a handful of people that were crying at that time during the game. It was pretty special.
Yeah, it was very special. And I'd also like to recognize Maria Doherty and Craig Garland from our Boosters program that did an unbelievable job behind the scenes with the events, both events. Turn it over to the boys if they want to add anything.
Could you tell us your name too?
Tommy Carroll. I'm a senior at Marshfield High School. Yeah, this has been it's been great because we've all been affected by cancer, and it's always great to work for a cause, and raising money with other communities as well is just always a great way to give back for what Marshfield Hockey's given us as well as Marshfield. So I'm very appreciative of what we've done and helped out other communities and people as well.
Just introduce yourself.
Cameron Getcher, I'm a senior.
Ronald Lynn, senior.
Aston Brown, senior captain. Ellie's a very special part of our team. A lot of us have Super Ellie stickers on the back of our helmets, and we put purple and green tape on our sticks, so this is very special.
That's really great. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Are you wearing purple? Is that a purple shirt?
Yeah.
Did you wear it special for hockey week? I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. See, I noticed. Look at that. That's amazing.
I know saying nothing purple, so when we were supposed to wear purple, that's why it's purple.
Just in time for your retirement.
Yeah.
Just on purple.
I would just like to say, I think most of us know that the impact on a student athlete of a sports team goes well beyond the sport, and I'm so excited to see and kind of firsthand see all of you guys from JV on up, participate in something bigger than yourselves and be able to give back to the community, and that's a lesson that's going to stick with you long after you're on the ice. So good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really well said. And I'm the only person on this side of the table who doesn't have a child who plays hockey. So these are two hockey parents right here, and I know they love seeing this. I think you guys should all be commended. Looking back, so I graduated from Marshfield High School in 2010, and I wasn't athletically coordinated, but I had friends who were, and they look back on it now and they don't remember the score of every single game or every single play that they made. And you guys won't remember that either, but what you will remember is how you impacted the community. And people around town recognize that you're doing this, and Coach, you know this so well. People around town are recognizing the impact that you have, not just in Marshfield High School, but for the entire town of Marshfield. People are talking about it. It's an incredible thing that you've done. It's not something that you see in every community. You guys really went above and beyond here, and as a district, I know I speak for everybody at this table when I say that we're incredibly proud of all of you and the leadership that you provide for Marshfield hockey, boys and girls, and we're really proud of everybody that you call your teammates as well. So if I could ask for a round of applause for these outstanding kids. Yeah. And you know what, to your coaches too, I think you guys would say that you're encouraged by your coaches, not just to give everything you've got on the ice, but off of the ice as well. So to you, Coach, and your whole team, thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have Coach Green back here too from the girls team. Come on, you're be part of this too. One of our dynamic teachers as well.
Yes. Guys, if we could do a photo with you in front of our banner here that we can.
Yeah, don't forget about Jimmy in the back there.
Oh, that's right. You kidding?
All his different outfits he wears.
Mr. Garland, Ms. Doherty. Yeah, Jimmy got me in front.
Way to start the meeting. That's awesome. Okay, well, that was great. Do we have our student representatives here tonight? Oh my God. There you go.
Yeah, Liv sends her regards. She can't come tonight. And I don't have the information for those schools. So I just have the middle school and high school
Go right ahead.
All right. For the middle school, semester 2 began this Monday. Report cards are being released this Friday, and the annual book fair will begin next week. The parent-teacher conferences will be held on January 30th. And for the high school, the second semester also started this Monday. Student council started Project Positivity this week, and it began yesterday. Monday was Be Kind for Mary Day. Tuesday is Take What You Need Tuesday, where they put sticky notes up on like the doors coming in. You can grab whatever sticky note you wanted. A bunch of fun messages that we made. Wednesday was Wear What You Need Gratitude Day. Oh, Wear Green Gratitude Day, sorry. Thursday was Thankful Note Thursday, and Friday, Friendship Bracelet Friday. There's a World War II presentation from 6:30 to 8 tomorrow night in the auditorium, and report cards are being released at the end of the week.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We might as well just move forward with the agenda as usual, and we'll go with the informational. I'll turn it on over to you.
No, great, because we got a couple items here, just again, positivity week was discussed, and meet not only the stuff that's going on in high school, but all the schools have different projects going on, or different activities, and I was visiting the ones for the other day, and they all had their positivity stickers on, and there was a big focus across the district on that. It's a nice thing to see. Also, I just want to give congratulations to the FBMS musicians and chorus for the concerts that took place over a period of time. They did their 6th, 7th, and 8th grade concerts after the holidays, when people had a little bit more time to be able to go and see them, and it was fantastic. Amazing performers, at the middle school level, and I'm sure some of them are very excited to bring those talents to the high school next year. Again, my lunch duty across the district is going strong. I was at annual way today, which is a real quick one, as you can imagine. It was nice, but still, I just want to highlight it mainly, not because it's fun serving food for the kids, but to see the work of the cafeteria professionals who serve food every day, and they do so much more than just serve food. They know the child's name. They know what their likes and dislikes are. They know what's going on at home. They know if they're playing in the game that night or that weekend. And just, we talked about creating a positive environment across the district, all elements, whether it's in the bus or whether it's in the classroom, but the cafeteria is really the biggest classroom we have. And kids meet there every day, and the staff we have is just fantastic. And it's a lot of fun to see the kids and their smiles and they're joking around, but it's really special to see how these professionals that work there every day interact with the kids. It just makes for a real special environment. So I want to congratulate all of them. They're really special people. And as most of you know, maybe last spring, the beginning of May, voted to name the high school gymnasium after Principal Kuther, outgoing Principal Kuther. Well, 2 Fridays ago, we were able to celebrate that with the community. And they had the plaque, the board, the sign that went up outside of the gymnasium, and he was able to be recognized in front of a full gym of basketball fans, and his family was there, and some of the school committee members were there, and it was a real special night to commemorate a special person. So I just want to once again congratulate Principal Cooper on having this amazing thing, and believe me, he'll be there to see it a lot over the upcoming years because he's a fixture there in the community garden. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Dr. Martin.
So today, the Elementary Literacy Council met. There were about 30 people in the room. There were teachers, special education teachers, our director of ELL, and let's see, who else was in the room? Reading specialists, a reading tutor, our literacy coaches, and all 5 elementary principals at one point or another. So behind you, you will see 3 of the 5 programs that we had publishers come in one after another today. We started at about 8 o'clock this morning. We got done at about 4:30. And we are going to go off and do a little bit more digging and come to our final 2 programs probably by the end of the week so that we can start field testing and get our field testing done before MCAS. And then we want to make our final decision at that point. So this will be rolled out for next school year, so we'll start planning the implementation this spring. But the committee did a great job sitting through a lot of talking today. We filled out a rubric for each one, had some great discussion, but we came to a pretty good consensus as a group. So, and then the other thing, just elementary, the after-school enrichment program, the information is coming home this week. So elementary parents can be looking for that. Registration will start next week.
Great. Thank you. Sounds like you feel pretty good about that process.
Yeah.
Good, good, good. Thank you very much. Ms. Scalaro.
I just want to update you that on January 8th, the district was notified that we received a grant from the Department of Education for just over $34,000. And the purpose of this grant is to assist the district in helping us to implement the new IEP form that is coming out next year. So we are going to implement the new IEP form next year, but our training and our preparation needs to begin this year. So we put together a grant and it was accepted. The bulk of the funding will be spent on supplies and materials for training. So things like we purchased an Aspen training site so that, because everything, well, a lot of it's the same because the law hasn't changed, the format is different. So all of the special education teachers and related service providers need to switch into a new system. So we will have access to that training site. We'll be able to create training binders and materials for staff. We'll be able to create training materials for CPAC so that we can train parents coming up. And then a large chunk of the money will be used to provide professional development and also to provide stipends for people to do the work that's necessary to make this a success. So we will create resources, create some exemplary IEPs in the new format. We'll have some funding for substitutes to allow professionals to attend trainings. We're using a train-the-trainer model across the district. And also some funding to help to provide some stipends to begin that process of transferring all of the IEPs from one form to another form. So some of it will roll over in Aspen, but because it's different, you know, there'll be all that having to fill in the gaps and making sure that it all makes sense. So we'll have some funding for that. So that was just some exciting news that I thought I would share with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Mr. Miller.
Just a quick update on a couple of items. First of all, I dropped a letter into the drive just this afternoon. We're going to send out an informational email to our students, families, and staff tomorrow regarding school hours for next school year. The information is there. As I stated at the last meeting, the start time committee met and recommended hours for next school year, with Marshfield High School starting at 8 o'clock and Furnace Brook starting at 8:05, and the 5 elementaries starting at 8:40. And along with our preschool, 9 to 11:30 and 12:25 to 2:55. So those are the recommended hours. Obviously, they don't go official until the committee approves them. And I detail in the letter the process that we're going to take, opening up bus registration in March, and then getting those numbers by March 31st to hopefully finalize those hours by the first meeting in April. So there's also going to be a little chance for feedback from all our stakeholders, just a really brief survey and an opportunity to give us feedback in a little text group. So that'll be going out tomorrow. And then I also want to thank Ms. Pazurski, who found this little nugget from the Hingham Public Schools. Mom, right? Mom. Ms. Pazurski's mom. In their census, they send out a school census form, and they ask for preschool age children. They actually say 1 to 5, but we changed it to 0 to 5. And we've been fighting this issue on kindergarten enrollment and knowing who our kindergartners are coming in. We're going through that process right now because it obviously impacts our budget, our classrooms in kindergarten. Now it's impacting our transportation registration. So this is going to go out through the town census that we all receive, and we're gonna create a little online form, an opportunity for our newer parents to let us know how old their children are from 0 to 5 before they actually do enroll in Marshfield Public Schools. So, and it also gives a chance to anyone to let us know if they have any students attending private or charter schools as well. We have a decent list on that, but some fall through the cracks in that process too. So, been working with Nerese Gasper of our town hall on that, so that'll be going out as well. So, thankful to Ms. Pazurski for finding this. So.
One of the many, many, many good things Mrs. Pazurski does for this district. There we go.
I have a question about the survey.
Yes.
So what do we do if the overwhelming feedback is that people don't support the hours?
That's a good question. I mean, the opportunity, you were part of the start time committee. There was some opinions on, we should do what's best as the educators in the district for our students. Surveys are always skewed to a certain extent. You're going to get, potentially could get more negative feedback, because that's what you do when you have a survey. But we'll take that information, obviously, and pass it along to the committee, and if need be, we can come back together as start time committee. But it's really a chance just to take a look at that and see, give everybody a chance to hear their opinions on the topic.
Yeah, if I could just add, we obviously want to make sure we hear from folks, and we got some of that last year, that we were talking about it a lot. We were putting forward a plan that was a little less dramatic than this one, with a start time of 7:45 as opposed to the 8 o'clock. That's not a problem for many people, but it's different than what we were talking about last year. So getting that feedback, again, I guess at the end of the day, the committee will look at the recommendations made by the start time committee. We'll look at the recommendations also from the transportation committee, because we have to work with that group to make sure that, working with the police, make sure that we have a safety plan to address the changes that are going to be going on in the parking area for the middle school and high school in particular. But at the end of the day, if the committee feels that based on, yes, you have the input from the committee, subcommittee, but if the input from the stakeholders or from police point you in a different direction, at the end of the day, you have that ability to say, we want more research, we want to go at a different time, but just like any subcommittee, they're making a recommendation that can be voted up or down by the committee.
I think what concerns me a little about this particular issue is I think that without having the opportunity to learn about why the start time, why the educators think that the start time is months, because I thought it was like for probably the past decade, and lots of people who haven't learned questions are kind of just broad, like, do you support it or not? And so if the overwhelming, if we are getting negative feedback, I would like to respond to that. But I also worry that we're going to respond to feedback without a knowledge base.
So we can do stuff.
I think there should be a why attached to this, because some people are going to be seeing this for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, like, yes, of course, we know what's going on. And the people that follow me too, there's going to be a lot of people that are seeing this for the first time, and that what they're going to say is, well, why are they doing this?
So can I ask a question then? And can I put this on you a little bit as a member of the subcommittee? Would you mind putting your head together with Mr. Miller tomorrow and maybe come?
We can hold off on
something?
the initial paragraph here. It's one quick. It's 2 sentences, a paragraph, just recapping why we're doing this. But we can definitely.
I think the letter is great because it's a confusing
It is.
The survey will get passed around without people. Like, I understand.
We can talk about something that we can do to get more information out. That's appropriate. Whether it's
It's not a bad idea.
a webinar type thing, or we can do something. It's hard to pull folks together all the time, but maybe. Yeah.
That would make me feel better that at least the opportunity is there if you'd like more information, if you'd like to have a conversation instead of, how.
Gotcha.
All right. Yeah, there's for sure going to be questions, so that's a very
we
good
can hold
point.
off on that and come up with something there to educate the folks.
Awesome. Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Miller?
All set.
Okay, thank you so much. Any subcommittee reports at this time? Okay, seeing none, we've reached the point of the meeting for public participation. If anybody wishes to address the meeting, please step forward and do so. And just like town meeting, if you could just say your name and the street you live on.
Hello, I'm Bonnie Owens from Old Main Street. I am a Marshfield alumni and Amesway parent. I'm a PTO enrichment coordinator, a Girl Scout leader, a soccer coach of 2 teams for MYS. I'm also co-chair of the North River Arts Festival and the content coordinator for Marshfield Neighbors magazine. And my investment in the safety and well-being of our community runs very deep. I would like to bring forth a resolution to the district regarding school safety. This resolution concerns protections and gun safety within the community. 76% of school shooters under the age of 18 get their weapons from within the home. 80% of firearm suicides in minors obtain their guns from within the home. 54% of gun-owning homes do not practice safe storage for all their firearms. The resolution I am proposing is an evidence-based, low-cost step toward preventing tragedy. If we can prevent even one child's firearm death or injury, it's our responsibility to do so. I've sent an email to both Superintendent Granatino and Mr. Costello concerning the resolution I'd like to introduce, and I am asking if it is possible to get on the agenda for your next meeting on February 6th. And I can take your response and any questions via email.
Thank you very much. I hope you got our responses as well, acknowledging that you sent it. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. If anybody else wishes to address the meeting at this time? Seeing none, we've reached the MEA update. I'll turn it on over to you, Mr. Raymond.
Good evening, everybody. Mr. Costello, members of the school committee. As always, thank you for providing time for the MEA on today's agenda. Tonight, I'm pleased to highlight the everyday and uncommon good done for Marshfield students by Mr. Zach Lamott, special educator at MHS, and Mrs. Marianne Bursaw, tutor extraordinaire at Furnace Brook Middle School. Of Mr. Lamott, a colleague who wishes to remain suspiciously dark and mysteriously nameless, writes, Zach is a teacher that should be cloned if possible. He treats every student with care, decency, and respect, and is always honest in his conversations with them. He finds new and creative ways to keep students engaged, but also holds them to standards of every other student because he knows they need both. Because of this, his students become engaged in their education, and together they and Zach are able to keep that momentum going, whatever it takes. Zach is exactly what I think of when I hear the words special education teacher. He makes each student feel special because of that, they achieve in and outside the classroom. Zach doesn't teach students, he creates productive members of society. It's an honor to work with him and see all he does for students and their families. Additionally, MEA Secretary Michelle Simmons and Furnace Brook Building Representative Darlene Ketch write of Mrs. Bursaw. Mary Ann is very hardworking and kind. Mary Ann works in several sub-separate classrooms where she has successfully developed strong relationships with her students. These students ensure that all students, Ms. Bursaw ensures that all students meet her high expectations, but also do not feel overtaxed. She provides a caring and supportive presence to aid her students. In addition, Mary Ann is coordinating the RAMS program for students who have an extended absence. She currently works with several students who have missed school and is helping them get ready to return to class full time. Mary Ann will help out wherever and wherever she is needed. She can be seen at events across Marshfield, all over town, assisting with students as well. She's willing to help colleagues in need, and her professional, calm demeanor is a tremendous asset to Furnace Brook. We are fortunate to have her. I'll add here as a point of personal privilege that Mrs. Bursaw possesses what I would call a genetic and unflappable goodwill. She shares freely that goodwill with everybody at every opportunity. My own wife's side of the family works at St. Christine's Church. She's very involved there. She's a delightful human being, and her retirement announcement I know must come at some point. And a personal note, I dread that as a selfish man. Mr. Lamont, and Mrs. Bursaw are two of the hundreds of names I could ask you to continue keeping in mind as you remember what's good for our kids and what's good for their teachers are, and yours makes no difference, one and the same. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ray. I echo everything you just said about Mimi Bursaw. She is the best. Thank you. I'm going to forego the meeting minutes again, Mrs. Pazurski, until we have the ability to actually approve
You're going to
them.
have a meeting just to have the meeting
I
minutes.
know. I know. We just have had such bad luck. Unfortunately, Ms. Stetson is sick tonight, and Mr. Greer had a work event that he couldn't miss, or else we'd be able to do the meeting minutes. We're also going to skip over the first item on the agenda tonight, the superintendent transition process, as I have nothing new for you. The only thing is that Dr. Sullivan and I have agreed on the language of the contract, but we need the committee here to approve that. And once that happens, he and I will sign that contract. So I guess I did have a little update for you there, but that is that. We have two items, the FY25 operating budget, which is a second read, and the naming of the district venue, which is a second read. We will, I anticipate, take a vote on both of those items tonight. And then we have two new items. So why don't we start with the FY25 operating budget, and I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Turlington.
Thank you. I will not get into a whole repetitive nature from last meeting's presentation. We walked through the preliminary budget, and I guess I can pull up one of the key pages to the document, which kind of outlines where we're at numerically. That's right. I want to look up here. So this is what we were working off of. We have a little new information from last week's meeting that we had a chance to meet with via conference call with Mr. Moresco and his financial team. But again, working just simplistically from the top down, our existing budget was, for this year, was $55,778,939. We have fixed in there numbers based on salary increases across the board. That's from teachers to custodians to administrators, everyone else mixed in there. We see an increase of almost $2 million, about 3.5% increase to the existing budget. And then we have a breakdown of different estimated operational increases. The district tuitions / circuit breaker, you see an increase going on there of $1.4 million. Our utilities have gone up. Mr. Miller talked at length about that at the last meeting. I think we were projecting $300,000 for heat and electricity and $600,000 this year. So that has to be figured into the new budget. Special education homeless contracted transportation is up. As is our regular transportation contract numbers are up for next year. And then our rotational tuition is the only one that brings it down a little bit. But if you look at the salary increases along with the operational increases, it's 7.37%, $59,892,590. So that's just what we would call a level service budget, nothing new. If we look at some of the needs-based enhancements that we have in our financial plan, and I'll show you what those represent in the next slide. Again, we had about $622,000. That's kind of what we brought forward on an annual basis. We understand that budgets are tight, and we don't come forward looking for frivolous add-ons. These are things that we feel are important for our students, for our staff, and they represent about a 1% increase, 1.1% increase to the FY25 budget. And if we had those in there, that's what we would call our needs-based budget, which is $60,515,050, which is an 8.49% increase over our existing number. We've had increases 5%, 6%, 7%. This is probably one of our bigger ones as far as our needs-based budget. And we know that number is not a number that we're going to get. Okay, we're realistic and like that. Most districts can agree with a number like that. But we did meet with the town, and they went over some of their revenue projections as best they could at this time. They're still working on some of their numbers, but they're coming forward with what they've presented to us in the last few years, a 3% increase right now on their preliminary budget. So 3% increase, about $1.6 million would be a budget of $57,452,307. I'm urging the committee to look at our needs-based budget today, and that's what we're going to propose to have passed today. But we know that between January 23rd and April 22nd, I think it is, or whatever that first Monday after April break is, when we have ATM, we're hoping we can shrink that delta down between where the town's at and what we're looking for. And we totally understand that it's tight across the board, but we'll get creative as we can. Mr. Miller is able to do a lot with a little at times, and I'm not saying that this is a little, but if we're short in areas, he finds ways to help augment that. And the grants that are coming forward, I know there's some small ones, but there's some other ones, anything that's out there that we can look to help assist us in our budgetary process, we will do so. But this time, based on, I'll show you again for those that at the last meeting, that 622, if we were able to get that, would give us more after-school support. That was money that was covered under a grant before. This is at the high school and middle school, $100,000. Mental health coordinator to work for the district, across the district. We've highlighted mental health needs, social emotional needs of our students and our staff. This is putting us in that direction that we talked about at length. A social worker that we've added this year at the elementary is great. We're looking at another one. We have a lot of kids that have a number of issues that could use this assistance of a social worker. It helps our staff as well in helping create more positive and calming classroom environments. A math coach at the middle school is in there as well. We've been working well with our coaches, both at the elementary and the middle school. We're looking to enhance that to support our math folks 6 to 8. A literacy coach at the elementary level would again help us spread the wealth. We're using 2 across 5 buildings, and that's kind of tough right now. And as Dr. Marshfield alluded to earlier, we have a new program as well, so another literacy coach there is going to be a great assistance. Part-time reading specialist, 0.5, to help again even off the distribution of our reading specialists that we have across our 5 schools. Would give a little bit more support for us. Technology integration specialists, we're looking to add them at the high school and middle school. We've had great success with them at the elementary level. We're looking to bring that out to the high school and middle school, as well as offering some more administrative support at the middle school if possible. Again, these positions all add up to $622,500. We know we might not be able to get all of them, but we always want to come forward as we talk about every year we do our budget. When people say, what do you need to kind of move forward? These are the things that our principals, our leadership teams, the feedback that they get back from their building staff. What we talk about with the school committee in the summer, this is what we feel we need to move forward. So we know we may not be able to get all of it, but we'd love to get something. So that is our number. Again, go back here, and there'll be a lot more discussions. We'll be meeting with different committees over the next 4 months. We'll have more discussions here. We still haven't received Coach 1, right?
It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. So that'll be timely. And we'll see what the governor has for schools. We'll keep our fingers crossed. And that's where we're at.
Any questions or comments? Mr. Miller, anything to add?
The only thing I'd like to add would be that item that's 1.45 million, that, I mentioned this at our last meeting, that's not, and Ms. Gallara wasn't here, she might be looking at it and saying, what's up with that? Because it's not truly all out of district tuition. It is the hole we're digging in this school year. So those items that you see there, utilities and contracted and almost transportation, that 720,000 is this year as well. And in order to make FY FY24 work for this fiscal year on paper, we have to pull items out of the budget to replace that in, and where we have that, for lack of a better term, that bank is in our circuit breaker account, which directly coincides with their out-of-district tuition. So our out-of-district tuition has gone up, but not quite that much. That also encapsulates all the issues we're facing this school year as well. So it's kind of a multiplying effect, and we're getting hit with over 24 and 25 school year.
So those numbers, in essence, could come down.
Yeah, and that was the final piece of it. Is as we work towards closing out fiscal 24 this school year, we could have some savings in those accounts, which will not play itself out as dramatically here. That's still a pretty large delta to get 3% from the 7.37 level service though. So we definitely have some work there.
Great, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Okay, so with tonight being a second read, we do just traditionally
By town bylaw, we have to provide the town with our budgetary number
Right.
by the last Monday of January, which is next Monday. So we typically use the second meeting to vote it. And again, this is just our preliminary number. We have a meeting in the beginning of April where we will vote our final number. And 1 year, we actually waited until 15 minutes before town meeting.
That was last year.
Was that last year? Wow, that seems it was years ago. Just last year.
That was last year.
So we voted our number 15 minutes before town meeting, but we try to avoid that when we can.
So traditionally, we vote the needs-based budget. So is there a motion on the floor to approve the FY25 needs-based budget of $60,515,050? So moved from Ms. Dargan. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Brate. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? That's a 3-0-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We're going to move on next to the naming of the district venue, which is the most uncomfortable agenda item that we've ever had for Mr. Granatino.
Can I leave?
Yes, if you'd like to. So I'll give just a recap of this agenda item for those who might not know. We have decided to bring forward naming the Early Education Center the Jeffrey W. Granatino Early Education Center. I'd like to ask now if my friends here have anything they'd like to say before we take this vote. Please feel free to do so.
He's looking at me like, don't make me cry. You know what, I think we're going to do Mr. Granatino a favor and save all
it's
my
okay.
things
I'm a
for
big
his
boy.
retirement party.
Yeah, we're going to get to
I
that.
started writing my speech already.
Nice.
It's going
Excellent.
to be really good.
Hottest ticket in town. I'll save all my good stuff for that too, but I will just say very quick, unless you have, would you like to add? You're good?
We're kicking it down the road.
One thing I'd just like to point out before we take this vote, we voted on a few namings of district venues in the 8.5 years that I've been on this committee. This is certainly the biggest that we've done, and it is not something that's taken lightly. You drive around town and we have 8 buildings now, and of those 8 buildings, 3 of them currently have a name attached to it that is from somebody. That would be the Martinson School, which is named after a former superintendent who was the superintendent when that school was built. There's the Governor Edward Winslow School, which of course is named, here's my history nerd coming out, after the first governor of the Massachusetts Bay Colony, who lived right here in Marshfield. And there's the Daniel Webster School, which is named after a United States Senator who was a Marshfield resident, who, his picture's all over this room, who was a senator during a time where you can't really name any of the presidents. And that's because things that happened in the country were controlled by these 3 senators, one of them being Daniel Webster. I went to Daniel Webster School, and it was a really proud thing for me to learn that history as somebody who loves those things and say, how cool is this? I went to the school named after this guy, and it's still really proud for me to drive by Daniel Webster School and say, that's where I went to school. it will be even prouder for me to drive by the Jeffrey W. Granatino Early Education Center because for the last 8.5 years, I've worked with this remarkable leader who has led us through tough times, who has led us through times of progress, and who has been the rock that this community has needed at the helm of our public schools since he was hired in 2015. It is an honor to take this vote today. It is my favorite vote that I'll ever take as a member of the school committee. Nobody deserves an honor like this more, and nobody expected it less than you did. And that's one of the greatest things about you is your humility. And I go back to when Ms. Brayton and I told him that we'd be bringing this motion forward, and just the shock on your face said everything. So this is a really proud night for me, and I know my friends here agree. That now we'll drive around town, and there's the Martinson School, there's the Governor Edward Winslow School, there's the Daniel Webster School, and there's the Jeffrey W. Granatino Early Education Center. You put names on buildings when they reflect the best of your community, and that is absolutely what we are voting to do here tonight. So with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to name the Early Childhood Center the Jeffrey W. Granatino Early Childhood Center. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Brate. We'll do that as a roll call there, Mrs. Pazerski.
Mrs. Dargan, Mrs. Brate, Mr. Costello.
Yes. The motion carries 3-0. Congratulations, Mr. Granatino.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know if I have to say stuff now.
You go right ahead if you want to.
I will be very, very brief. Yes, the party.
The party's
there's a
going
lot
to be a
going on
roast.
there. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be sick that day, I think. No, I am floored. When you mentioned it a month ago, and then when you talked about it at the last meeting, it doesn't register in my head. I did not get into this business to have a building named after me. I remember going to my first faculty meeting and having them recognize people who had been there for 30, 35 years. I'm like, oh, that'll never be me. I'll be out of this business soon enough. And it's been a lifelong vocation and something I'm really, really proud of. I mentioned, I think, to you folks when you told me about it, that I wish my mom could see it. And, you know, it's something special and you don't expect it. But I firmly believe that any recognition I get is not really my recognition, it's the recognition of Tom and Ellen and Amy and Joni and my principals and Courtney over there and the teachers of Marshfield. They're the ones that make things happen. And I'm just lucky to be here working with them, helping them navigate through some of the challenges that we all have. And it's been a challenge for everybody over the last few years. And we've done exceptionally well, I think, as a district because of the leadership you folks give us at the top. But it works its way down in our collaboration with the union and Mr. Raymond and prior to him, Ms. Marples. That is what allows us to do the things that we've done. So yeah, I might have the title that goes along with making some of those things happen, but it's not me, it's everybody around me. And so while my name might be on that building, it's gonna be really reflective of the 600 and some odd folks that work for this district. And that's why I do my job. And I'm just really, really thankful and still can't quite figure it out. My family can't quite figure it out.
I'm
Being
sure.
the youngest of 7, I get a lot of grief being the baby of the family, and then this just adds to it. So thank you very much. I'm honored beyond anything you can imagine. I'm really floored. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you grab your little name tag there and stand in front of the banner so Mrs. Pazerski can take a photo of you. Do it? Yeah, go ahead. Laura would like you to do one.
Okay, why do I?
Because it's the name that's going to be on the building.
We're going to put that as the sign. As the logo, help the budget.
It's going to be bigger than that on the sign.
The budget's tight. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, the retirement party will be a roast, not a tear-filled. No.
No tears.
Okay, we have 2 items left. I'll turn it on over to you, Mr. Granatino, for the Safe Schools Bullying Prevention and Intervention.
Yes, Ms. Gallar is going to briefly go over the new plan that we've come up with. If you remember back in November, at the end of November, the committee voted on a new bullying prevention policy. It was not new, most of it was the same, but there have been some changes made at the state level. And working with MASC's language, we created a more up-to-date policy that is now in place, that has been voted on, and we are abiding by that. But with the changes there, obviously it impacts the plan that we have. And the plan is something that the committee doesn't vote on. It's something that was put together by a group of folks a number of years ago, and now it's been updated. Ms. Gallar and Ms. Casey, who could be here tonight, really spearheaded the work with a few different stakeholders from around the district, and they've updated the plan. This is when you go to our website, you see all the different things in the front. One of them is the bullying prevention and intervention plan. So Ms. Gallar just wanted to go over and update you on some of those changes.
Great.
Okay.
Tom's going to click through the presentation for me. So the MPSD Safe Schools Bullying Prevention and Intervention Plan, it was reviewed and updated in January 2024. So because you updated the policy, we then had to go, so the policy is kind of what's in line with the laws and the regulations, and then the Safe Schools Bullying Prevention Plan is really how does Marshfield implement that policy. So it includes position statements prohibiting bullying, cyberbullying and retaliation. It includes our reporting procedures, including anonymous reporting. It talks about responding, investigating, communicating, and documenting procedures after a bullying report is received, and our procedures for professional development, curriculum, and communication with families. So I'm going to we can go to the next slide. So the Safe Schools Plan Review Committee is made up of stakeholders across the district. So myself and Patty Casey, the Assistant Director of Special Education, along with Ellen Martin, Assistant Superintendent, and MPSD parent, along with teachers from Furnace Brook, Jamie Hobson and Angela Wenning, Bill Flanagan from EWS, Karen Hubbard, the principal of Governor Winslow, Mark McNulty, the assistant principal of Governor Winslow, Maureen Kemet, principal of Furnace Brook, Scott Madden, assistant principal of Furnace Brook, Robin Gay Jennings, a teacher at MHS, and a Safe Schools bullying mediator at MHS, Sean Maroney, a teacher at MHS, Melissa Morley Beresford, an SESP, and an MPSD graduate parent, as well as contributions from Dominic Santorino and Kristen Reed. So a whole group of people really dug into both the policy and the Safe Schools Plan, and like line by line went through to make sure that our Safe Schools Bullying Prevention and Intervention Plan aligns with the district's policy. So it's a long document. If you just click on that, I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to, you'll see it. It's posted. Oh, sorry. You've got it. Just, all right, go back to the presentation. It's a 19-page document, and it really, the next slide will tell you what it lists out. Sorry about that. What happened? All right, we can just go to the next page. So it's a 19-page document that really just, in sections, lines, talks about what are our procedures here in Marshfield. It also contains all of the text of the bullying policy within it. So during this review, we ensured that the Safe Schools Plan is aligned to the MPSD bullying policy. Like, for example, in the policy, the word aggressor has been changed to perpetrator throughout the document. We went through and changed that throughout the Safe Schools Plan. We revised the person responsible for the oversight of the plan. So it did list the assistant superintendent. It's now been changed to the superintendent or their designee. So it's really up for the superintendent to decide who's in charge of that. We added the 14-day timeline for the investigation closure per the policy update. So that's something that was changed in the policy and is now changed here. To our procedural flow chart, we've added a closure letter and also added mental health counselor consultation for all instances of bullying. So this plan to disseminate the revised MPSD plan, it was fully reviewed by the committee, then it was emailed to all of the pre-K to 12 leadership team. It was reviewed at a meeting with the pre-K to 12 leadership team. It's presented to the school committee tonight, which is televised to the Marshfield community. It is posted on the MPSD website. It's updated in all student handbooks at all levels, elementary, middle, and high school. It's updated in the faculty handbook. It's been updated in our MPSD annual compliance training slides. Every year, every employee of Marshfield is trained in all of our policies and procedures. And it will be sent out following the meeting in a link in the superintendent's weekly newsletter. So that is just a recap of what the work of that Safe Schools Committee.
Great. Go right ahead.
Is our substitutes trained in that as well?
So all of our, it's part of the substitute training when they come in. So anybody who is an employee of the Marshfield Public Schools, like, has to do our annual compliance training. Coaches and van drivers, everybody. Teachers, ESPs, administrators. So it's part of being hired. You go through our annual compliance training.
Any other questions, comments?
I just want to thank Amy and Patty, particularly. Patty did a lot of the groundwork. A lot of folks in the team did yeoman's work on it, but it wasn't an easy task.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, our last agenda item of the evening is the preschool tuition, and I'll turn it on over to you, Mr. Granatino.
And I'll be passing on to Mr. Miller.
There we
who
go.
will give a brief presentation on a slight uptick in our tuition for preschool.
So we have a couple different items here. The first proposal is an increase in our PK tuition from $2,750 to $3,000 annually, and that's for the 2.5-hour program. Director Coots is here, and we can speak a little bit more to the reasonings behind that. But this was actually increased last year as well from $2,500 to $2,750. That is obviously for our peers, our students whose parents choose them to place them in the program, and then there's IEP students that attend for free. As indicated on the informational, there is a sliding scale fee as well for anybody that has trouble paying that fee. That's one part of the proposal, and then the second part of the proposal, I'm going to let Courtney speak to a little bit. But just to take a look at it real quickly, we're talking about formulating an extended day program where students will be able to attend from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. So something that's been this has been one of the things that I've been kind of pushing for over the years, and because I go way back to when my daughters were younger, and Dr. Dupuy would be put your girls in hand. I'm like, 2.5 hours a day. It's not going to cut it for a two-parent working family. So, but I'm going to let Courtney speak a little bit to the specifics, because it's really. And then I'll let her speak to the specifics on how the and then I'll detail the financial piece behind that as well.
Hello.
Hi again.
Hi, I'm Courtney Coots. I'm the director of the Early Childhood Program. I know we saw each other a couple weeks ago. So this program that we're thinking of piloting for next year would be an integrated pre-K session for 4 and 5-year-olds. And then additionally, it would be an extended day. So the extended day piece would be, we were thinking of calling it the LEAP program, which would stand for Learning, Enrichment, and Play program. So the pre-K session, the integrated pre-K session would be 2.5 hours. It would run from 9 to 11:30. And then 11:30 to 4 would be that LEAP program. So it would be like a lunch and a recess, as well as rest time, and then some developmentally appropriate activities and center-based activities for the kids. Additionally, we were talking and we were thinking as well that those students that are part of that program could arrive at 7:30. So from 7:30 to 9 would also be that LEAP program. The integrated pre-K program would be taught by a teacher, so just like the rest of our program. And then the LEAP program would be taught by 2 educational support professionals. So we're looking at that right now. We're thinking about starting it next year. We would have up to 20 students, and that would be students with and without disabilities. So up to 5 students with identified needs, and then 15 students that would pay a tuition to come. Did I cover everything?
Yeah, that's.
I think that was.
And then I'll cover the financial piece because it's obviously detailed in the budget presentation. With next year is going to be a struggle financially, and the Jeffrey W. Granatino Educational Center has some costs associated with it, obviously, and a few unassociated costs that have come up over this year. But what this program, what the extended program can do, and what falls under the purview of the school committee is establishing a tuition rate. And we did some research on competitive 8.5-hour programs around town, and we're looking to establish a rate of $14,500 annually, which comes in a lot less than other preschool programs. And those are actually daycare preschool programs, where this is an established program where the 2.5 hours a day of the preschool program that has been established as through the early childhood program would still be in place. And then, but just offering parents the opportunity to place their children in the Marshfield Public School system. It's something that's a big step for us, and it's a little bit of a trial. We're starting to have problems getting peer students.
So that was the piece that I did leave out. So historically, we're a half-day program. So we have our youngest learners come in the morning for 2.5 hours. That's for our 3-year-olds that focus on learning readiness. And then our afternoon half-day session is for our 4 and 5-year-olds, and that focuses on pre-kindergarten, kindergarten readiness. We've had multiple requests the last 3 years, I would say, from parents asking for full-day program. And I think Tom said that too, that just a lot of families can't consider our program because they need those extended hours. The other part I left out is Wednesday. So our program runs 4 days a week, and then we use Wednesday for screenings, evaluations, and meetings. It's a very busy day. We're looking to have this extended day run on Wednesday as well, so it would be 5 days. The Wednesday session would be that LEAP program. So it would start at 7:30 and it would run until noon. And it would be run again by 2 educational support professionals. But we're hoping to meet that need. That's the one need we haven't been able to meet as our dual earning families or families that just need that extended day for extra child care.
And the great thing about this is from the business side of things, not only for the community, but very little additional costs. We'll have 2 ESPs that will pick up the swing time on the program. But other than that, the staffing really sort of remains the same. So it's really a great opportunity. And as detailed in there, it could potentially it could generate up to $250,000 in revenue, which is seriously needed for next school year, and it will also help with some of the unforeseen costs of the new location as we got up and running. So definitely, it's the proverbial win-win on both sides. So the recommendation, so we kind of fast-tracked this a little bit because early childhood needs to get their documentation out, and for tuition tomorrow.
So Friday.
Friday.
We're hoping to have it on Friday.
But so the recommendation is it would be an increase of $250 for the 2.5 hour half-day program to $3,000, and then the establishment of a full 7:30 to 4 o'clock extended day program for the total cost of $14,500 annually. And just to back it into the hours, I didn't have it on here. The hourly rate, I'm going to try to remember this off the top of my head, but it's about $8.50 an hour for the 2.5 hour program, and it was about $10 an hour for the extended day. So there's really not that. It's a little bit of an uptick, but once again, I think it's still something that's badly needed, and I don't think we'll have an issue filling the slots, and the slots will be done by lottery, as all the slots at the early childhood program are.
So the special education students pay tuition for the extended day if they have a discount? The special education students pay tuition for the extended day if they have a discount? Is that
Correct. Yes. That was one piece in here so the $14,500 rate for peer students would be reduced by $3,000 for any IEP students that were in the program. So the rate would be $11,500 because they would still get their 2.5 hour, $3,000 program.
So the $14.50 a month is on top of the $3,000 a year?
No, not. No, it'd be $14,500 for peer students, those without IEPs, and then $11,500 for any students that are enrolled in the program due to IEPs but wish to have the extended day.
I'm just curious, I don't know about the stuff that, when you go to this many hours, it's still considered a school program, not a daycare?
Correct, right, yeah.
The extended day is an enrichment session.
Okay, so it's the regular preschool part then?
Right.
And I just have one quick question on I know our 2.5 hour sessions are bound by regulations as far as having, roughly an 8-7 gap between our the students that are on IEPs and those that are not. But with the extended leave program, we don't have to abide by that same ratio because we're looking at 15. That would not be
So this program would include those students as well. So we would have up to 20 students with a maximum of 5 students with identified needs. So it falls within that ratio.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the class, the students who participate in this program will be in both the integrated pre-K for 4 and 5-year-olds as well as the LEAP program. And they'll be together for the entire day.
The law seems a little backwards, but Courtney explained it to me. Because if you have a classroom of 15, it's 8 and 7. If you have a classroom of 20, it's 15 and 5. And Jeff and I were both kind of like, yeah, but it's written, it's black and white, and so that's what the state.
So then how do you do the lottery?
Good question. We're gonna establish you have a due date, a registration deadline. Last year, all our peers were accepted at the end, correct?
Yes, we had, I think, about 15 people on a wait list, and we were able to place all 15 by the end. Mm-hmm.
But if we do have more than 20 that want this program, we'll have to do a lottery.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions, comments? And you need both of these items approved tonight?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How does the committee feel about that? Are we comfortable making a motion? Okay. Is there a motion on the floor to approve the tuition rates for the 2024-2025 school year? Are they 2 separate motions that you're looking for, Mr. Miller? Mr. Grantino, there's a bug crawling by.
It could be, either way.
I know. Just letting you know.
Mascot for the
Motion to kill the bug. He's drowning it. Okay, so is there a motion to approve the increase of the tuition rates for the 2024-2025 school year from $2,750 to $3,000? So moved from Ms. Brate. Is there a second? Second from Mr. Argan. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. That's 3-0-0. Is there a motion to approve the pilot program of the LEAP program? So moved from Mr. Argan. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Brate. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Much appreciated. Okay, folks, that is our agenda for the evening. Our next meeting is 2 weeks from tonight. We will be at Marshfield High School on the 6th of February. That's in the library. There we go. I think we had a cake last year.
We did.
It was on your birthday, yeah. Right. Maybe. We'll see. Is there a motion to adjourn? So moved from Ms. Dargan. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Brate. We'll do a roll call there, Mrs. Wizard.
Mrs. Dargan, Mrs. Brate, Mr. Costello.
Yes. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.